Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Edge Sports Network. Hope you guys are doing all right. We got another interview for you guys today, part of our summer series that we've been running here on the site all summer. Hope you guys are enjoying if you've been following along. But we got Chris Platt just finished up his career at Baylor, wide receiver. Chris, thanks so much for joining us here on the site today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on. We're lucky to have you here. I mean, you had an outstanding career at Baylor. We could honestly have about a 3 or 4 hour interview with you if we wanted to go through everything there, but we'll keep it to about 20 minutes. So, I just want to start here. I mean, just finish up the career. We'll get into the stats and stuff a little bit later, but how's it feel to kind of be, done with college football here, moving on to that next level, getting ready for that next step in your career? Did you kind of ever think that this day would come?
I honestly I didn't think it'd get here
Mm-hmm.
faster than it did, and I
Mm-hmm.
mean I got an extra year also, so I mean
Yep.
take that into account. But my time at Baylor it was great.
Mm-hmm.
I won't take anything back from it.
For sure, for sure. I mean, you hold the record right now for most games in Baylor history with 57, finished with 122 catches, nearly 2,000 yards, 12 touchdowns in your 6 seasons there. One of them was a redshirt season, of course, 5 seasons of
Mhm.
play. And I have to ask you, Big 12 football, I mean, to play in a conference like the Big 12, how was that experience for you? How'd that kind of help you as a player?
It helped me out a lot because in the Big 12, I mean a lot of teams run the spread or
Mm-hmm.
they like to spread the defense out, so they're going to get some hybrid guys on defense that are kind of big and also fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's like that in the NFL. They're going to get some big guys that can run also. So I feel like that's going to improve improve my way of thinking, the
Mm-hmm.
way I run routes and all this other stuff. But I think it'll help me out a lot.
No doubt about it. And I mean, Big 12 sports, not only football, you were not only part of football, you also ran track and field, for Baylor here in your time, with the Bears and stuff. How did track and field kind of help you on the football field? And I mean, how was that experience? And second of all, I mean, how is it kind of balancing everything, football, track and field, then you got school on top of it. How was that, just for the overall college experience?
I'd probably say track helped my preparation for football,
Mm-hmm.
like getting ready, because I mean you can't really just slack off with track. I mean, you got to eat right, you got to
Mm-hmm.
sleep right, you got to live right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just transformed that to football and got my body right, and it helped me out a lot with that. And just far as like getting all that stuff together, doing track and spring football and
Mm-hmm.
academics, I mean, I just had to take it one step at a time. But I mean, my academic advisors kind of helped me with that also, with the academics part, and then the strength coaches, they gave me some leeway. They trusted that I'd do the stuff that I needed to do, so it wasn't as bad of a transition.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't really wear me down as much, so I mean, it wasn't all that bad.
You balanced it really well, saw plenty of success in both sports, and that's not something we see a lot. Usually, I'd say we'll go with 99% of guys in the NCAA, athletes in the NCAA, they have one sport, and that's enough right there. I mean, you were balancing two here, throw school on top of it, off-season work, practice, going to the gym, you name it, just everything that you kind of have to kind of juggle there. But you did a really good job balancing that. As I said, saw a ton of success both on the field and, running track. I know I got to ask you too, either with football or with track here, looking back at your career at Baylor, I mean, what are some of the more memorable moments that you've had? Some of the things that'll kind of stick with you for the rest of your career, rest of your life?
I'd probably say for one, my redshirt year when we won the Big 12 championship,
Mm-hmm.
and the two times we won the Big 12 championship for track.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that'll stick out the most to me.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm sure that's a special moment. Going into those championships right there, how are you feeling headed into those? How do you kind of settle down before those meets or before those games to kind of get in the zone and make sure that you're laser focused and you don't kind of let the butterflies take over? Because I'm sure were you pretty nervous headed into those?
Oh yeah, I was
Yeah,
pretty nervous.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Was also very determined. But I
Hmm.
mean, there's three other guys on that team, that 4x4 team that we won it on. So, I mean, we all talked amongst ourselves, and then I kind of like learned since in high school, being at that big stage, I kind of learned to relax and just take it all in.
Hmm. For sure. I mean, that's definitely those are special moments too. I mean, headed into those, I know it's one of those things where, first of all, I can't even imagine how nervous I would be headed into something with the stakes that high. Second of all, though,
Hmm.
kind of got to take it in, kind of got to enjoy it, because realize, that's what you've worked for. So you don't want to let that
Yeah.
pressure of the moment kind of take over. So it's nice to know that, you stayed cool, calm, and collected as best you could right there. And I know that's probably not the easiest thing to do on a Division I platform, especially at a school like Baylor. So I'm
Yeah.
sure that it definitely took some courage right there, but the hard work paying off, and that is what you love to see. That's what you work for your entire career. I know too, on the football field now, going back there, it's funny. You got to bounce around with the sports you played, man. You played so much. You did so much at
Hmm.
Baylor. But I know you also spent time on special teams. You did that in high school as well. How did special teams kind of help you, at the wide receiver position and even at track? Was there any translation between those two?
I probably say just with special teams and just being as a receiver,
Mm-hmm.
especially like if you're blocking, like on punt
Mm-hmm.
or kickoff return, if you're not returning really,
Mm-hmm.
and just learning how to slide when you need to slide, turn when you need to turn. That all transforms to receiver blocking and
Mm-hmm.
helping out on the offense.
For sure. For sure. I know. Did you always kind of want to be a wide receiver growing up and stuff? Was that always your number one position, or was that something you kind of found out, a little bit later on in your career?
Yeah, so I first started playing football when I was in fifth grade, and I
Hmm.
I started as a defensive end,
Wow, that's a little bit
and
of
that
a
was
switch. A
kind of
little bit of a
yeah,
switch.
yeah. They used my speed for the outside
Hmm.
to get to the quarterback, but I mean I kind of learned as I went because in middle school I was a running back. Up in freshman year in high school I
Hmm.
was a running back. Then I switched after that to outside receiver, and then I was outside receiver from my sophomore year to my senior year, and then along to where I'm at right now.
There you go. You're getting, kind of a taste of every position. It sounds like, when you're first starting out. I feel like that's kind of how everyone starts with football, just trying to find their position and whatnot, and then you kind of settle into one. But defensive end, yeah, definitely you've had quite the development from defensive end to right now. I know, growing up too, was there any players that you kind of looked up to, whether that be, on the defensive side of things, since you started off there, or on the offensive side of things, since that's where you're at right now?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I definitely say in high school I looked up to Devin Hester. That's why I
Oh,
wanted to be a return man. Like
there
just
you
looking
go.
at his highlights, like the day before a game or the night of the game, like that's the type of stuff I wanted to do for the team.
Mm-hmm. Ah, man, Devin Hester, I'm glad you bring that name up because I feel like that's one that a lot of people kind of forget. A guy that a lot of people really overlook, not on the return side of things, but I know, he was a decent receiver too. But I mean
Hmm.
that return game, I'd say he's the best returner in NFL history. And I know I have a few friends from Chicago, and if you bring up Devin Hester around them, it could go on for hours. So
Yeah.
uh, we might have to clip this part of the interview for the people in Chicago and just kind of avoid it because we don't want to get them talking about Devin Hester. They'll go on for days.
Uh huh.
And I mean he was definitely a fan favorite and definitely so fun to watch, so explosive on that return game. Um, and I know you know, parts of your game really do model his game. You're quick, you're fast, you're speedy. Got that wide receiver returner combo. And going back,
Hmm.
you're gonna have to look back quite a while now. But your first game of
Hmm.
college football, I know it was against SMU. You had a pretty good game right there, 42-yard touchdown catch. Headed into game number one. I know this is what 57 games ago now, 56 games ago. What
Hmm.
were your emotions kind of heading into that first game of college football? How'd you feel going into it? And I mean, walking out onto the field for the first time, what was that experience like?
it was breathtaking,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, just to know the fact that like I was gonna play,
Mm-hmm.
cause my redshirt year, we went through some injuries early in the year, and it was a possibility of me like getting my red shirt pulled to like every other game. I was like, am I gonna get pulled? Am I gonna play?
Mm-hmm.
Am I not? Like it was just I never knew. But that next year I knew I was gonna play. And actually my first play, I remember my first catch.
Mm-hmm.
It was on fourth and I wanna say it was 4th and 3.
Mm-hmm.
and I converted the first down. And my adrenaline, my anxiety was just through the roof. And I knew
Uh-huh.
the ball was coming to me, just how the defense was coming.
Mm-hmm. Man, that must have been great. 4th and 3 too. I mean, you gotta convert that. You gotta convert that.
Yeah.
Especially on the first play of your career right there. Yeah, that doesn't make it too easy on you. I mean, they're giving you your first play of your career and they're trying to make you convert a 4th down here. Man, they're
Mhm.
putting the pressure on early, huh? They didn't waste any time.
Not at all.
Well, hey, I mean that got you ready for it, and I know that 42-yard touchdown you had in that game. It was a catch from Jarrett Stidham. We're based up in Massachusetts right now. We're about an hour outside of Boston, in Worcester. I have to know,
Mhm.
are we in good hands with Jarrett Stidham? I mean, you've played with him. I mean, what is our future looking like? You gotta enlighten us here. How was that experience? Are we gonna be all right? Cause I'm nervous. I'm really nervous, Chris. Are we gonna be okay with Jarrett Stidham?
Y'all will be in good hands. That dude is a
All right,
hard worker, and he is full of talent. I,
perfect.
I, I can go on about it, but he's the guy.
All right, I'm glad to hear that because we definitely got we have some history with the Patriots to say the least, and
Yep.
my entire life has just been Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady. So I'm looking forward to the new era. We did just sign Cam Newton. It's a 1-year deal. Who knows what's gonna go on there? But right now, Stidham's the future for us. I'm looking forward to that, but I feel more comfortable now knowing that we're in pretty good hands here. So I definitely trust you. You got the first hand experience. So I think you're a good source right there. And I know, looking back at your career at Baylor now, I mean, it has been 95% just excellence, but I know you faced some adversity there too, that torn ACL back in 2017. You came out in
Mhm.
2018 though, and you had one of the best seasons of your college career. How do you kind of bounce back from that, not only mentally, or not only physically, but mentally as well? I mean, I'd imagine it's kind of hard to keep your head within things when something that frustrating kind of happens.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in 2017, everything was going right. Possibly leaving early if
Hmm.
like it was going towards the plan, but I mean, things happen for a reason.
Hmm.
But I just had I had the most outstanding support system, like through my family, my
Hmm.
friends, and like some of my coaches. I mean, they kept me up even though sometimes I just wanted to quit. Like
Hmm.
pushed me through rehab. I had some teammates that also went through injury during
Hmm.
the same time I did. Kind of pushed each other a bit.
And I mean, when you kind of experienced that, was that the first time you had been facing a serious injury in your career?
Yeah, that was my first ever season-ending injury ever.
Man, yeah, that's tough, especially at that college level. I mean, it's tough at any level, but when you're in college, that's when you really want to play. That's when you really want to get those reps. So, I think the fact that you responded to it well is the most important thing, though, because when that happens, a lot of guys might get knocked down and just not bounce back from it. But you bounce back
Hmm.
from it. And during that time where you had off from the injury, what were the things you were kind of focusing on? I would imagine a lot of, watching tape, is what's going on for the most part. A lot of rehab and whatnot. But was there anything else that you would kind of try to focus on just to kind of keep your head with things and stay in it?
Hmm. So during those times, I worked a lot on my catching because
Mm-hmm.
I mean I couldn't jump, couldn't cut, so I worked
Mm-hmm.
on the things I could do, and that was catch and study. So like during those times, I studied during the film times we had, and then I also went and caught jugs when I could.
Mm-hmm. That's the best way. I mean, you got to find those things to do. Just kind of improvise, do whatever you can. So I feel like every situation, I mean, no matter what, you can really kind of find a way to make the best of it. I think what you did was making the best of it right there, just working on what you could work on. Obviously, you were limited, but you did the
Yeah.
things that you could do, and hard work again pays off in your 2018 season. You had a really good year there. So glad to see that you bounced back from everything. And I know, college decision, I was going to talk about this a little bit earlier, just kind of crossed
Hmm.
my mind now, but what kind of had you set on Baylor? I know it's always tough to come out of high school, look around for schools, make that decision, especially when you're an athlete. So what'd you like about Baylor and what had you set on deciding to continue your career there?
I kind of had the main focus of going to a college that would let me do both.
Mhm.
football and track,
Mhm.
because I knew that I was pretty elite at both, and I wanted to take it to the next level. Didn't want to just do one.
Mhm.
And so I had that as a main focus, and then I talked to a few schools. A few schools had offered me for both. And when I took my junior day visit up there, and then they gave me a tour of the campus and the facilities, talked to the coaches, I kind of like knew it, like felt like home.
Mhm.
It was like a home type atmosphere, and I mean it wasn't too far away from home, and it wasn't too close,
Mhm.
and it just felt right. It felt right for me.
And what was kind of the first thing that stood out to you? Like, for instance, your first visit, when you first got on campus, kind of first saw everything. What was the first thing that kind of stood out to you?
The first thing that stood out with me was the the teammates and the teammates' interaction with the coaches. They
Mhm.
were like family out there, and that's what I wanted.
That's the best atmosphere right there. And I mean, that's what you need too, because going to college, I mean, was that kind of the first time you had lived away from home?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have.
so I know, going to college like that, you kind of want somewhere where you feel at home just to kind of adjust. So I think that's like the main thing that um, you kind of want to look for in a program, in a school, is just that feeling of fitting in and just being able to make that transition smoothly, because it's not an easy transition. There's no doubt about it, especially when you're living away from home for the first time. So it definitely showed that Baylor was the right fit for you, the right community for you. And going back to that community aspect that Baylor has, the appreciation for its teams, going out there on game day. I mean, how is that atmosphere at your guys' home stadium? How's the Baylor community? How's the fans? I would imagine walking out on the field, I know you said it was breathtaking, but how is it on those game days, when you're playing at home?
It's it just feels so surreal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it feels like you're just walking on clouds, really. Like
Yeah.
you can just like when you wake up into the hotel and just look out the window, you can
Mm-hmm.
just feel it. You can feel the energy. You can like see people like already like tailgating out there early in the mornings. We got a late night game,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's just there. There's some diehard Baylor fans out there that you just want to like give your all to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't imagine. Some people are so dedicated. Like as you mentioned, people tailgating in the morning there and just waiting all day. But that's what really makes it special. I mean, that's kind of the thing I'm sure you're going to remember the rest of your life here. And I mean, now that you've closed up your career at Baylor, I mean, what are you going to miss most about your college experience, about this football program?
I'd probably say the workouts,
Wow.
the hard summer workouts, because those are the things that kind of like bond y'all together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that's
That's
what I probably miss most.
yeah, that's when that like team chemistry and that brotherhood aspect kind of gets formed, I would assume.
Mhm.
So, I mean, yeah, that's especially, in the off season and stuff. All you guys, early on in the summer, it's hot out. You guys are sweating in the heat. You guys are all tired. So I'm sure at that point you're like, all right, we gotta stick in this together because that's the only way we're gonna get through this. So,
Yep, exactly.
yeah, so definitely takes a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication. Um, but to build that relationship with your teammates, very important. It showed on the field for you guys throughout your entire career. You saw a ton of success personally and as a team in your time at Baylor. Now you're in a pretty unique spot just coming out of college here. I know you were being looked at, in the draft this year. Um, didn't get taken yet, but you're still really young. You're just 1 year out of college, plenty of time. What are the next steps
Yep.
for you right here? What have you kind of been doing this off season? And what are your goals kind of for the next couple years? Where do you kind of see yourself headed?
So yeah, it was pretty interesting because we didn't even get to have our pro day,
Mm-hmm.
so we had to do it virtually. So that was a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got a couple invites, but now with like the NFL might not have preseason, they might
Yep.
cut down the roster spots. So I just gotta play the waiting game right now and just
Mm-hmm.
wait and see what they're gonna do with that. Like if I'm gonna be uninvited, the invite's still on and with other stuff. But right now, the only thing I can do is just control what I can control.
Mm-hmm.
Just get myself ready.
That's the best attitude to have right now because I feel like with what we have going on, it's not normal for how things normally would have gone. I know I just sounded
Yeah.
pretty pretty repetitive there, but basically it's like everything's kind of mixed up right now, and I think you're looking at this a good way. Like I would say all the guys that probably would have got drafted a normal year, such as yourself. I mean, a lot of those guys didn't get that opportunity because one, the pro days were all messed up, as you mentioned. They were virtual and stuff. Teams aren't getting as good a look as they could have. Two, the NFL doesn't really even know if they're going to play, so teams have been hesitant to make moves and whatnot. And then
Yeah.
three, just all the training is kind of messed up. So I think you're looking at it as a good way right here, just to kind of use this year as a way to really prep, a good prep year, and just kind of to get ready for that next level. And as I said, I mean, you're still 1 year out of college, so definitely you're in a great spot right now for sure. And I mean, what are you kind of looking forward to in these coming years? I know this is a really exciting time right now. So what are you kind of looking forward to, playing at that next level, hopefully, and just kind of getting, in the swing of things again once football returns?
Uh, I'm just looking. I'm looking forward to just training camp, just to
Hmm.
show them what I'm able to do,
For
just to
sure.
show them that I'm worth to keep on the team.
Hmm. For sure. I mean, I can't wait to see, I've talked with a bunch of guys who are in your same position here. They're just coming out of college, just graduated, and I think, everyone's so motivated right now, and a lot of guys have kind of fallen off because this pandemic, I don't care who you are, it's taken a lot out of everybody mentally. So a
Yeah.
lot of guys have just kind of fallen off, but guys such as yourself kind of staying with it, focusing on what they can control. Once you get that opportunity, I think you're really going to be a step above, all the other guys because you're still working, still getting your reps in. So that's definitely great to see. I'm glad you have that positive outlook on it. I always like to end the interview here on a couple questions. First one is a fun one. Second one,
Okay.
or the first couple are pretty fun ones. And then the third one is the $1 million question. You might have thought about it, you might have not. We'll get to it though. My first question for you: if you could catch a touchdown from any quarterback, past or present, they can be dead or alive, who would that quarterback be?
Ooh. Let's see. I I'll probably say Michael Vick.
There you go. That's a good one. That is a good one. Now, are we going Falcons Michael Vick, or are we going like Eagles Michael Vick?
Falcons Michael Vick.
All right, that's the prime Michael Vick right there. So
Yeah.
I think that's the better option right there. Eagles Michael Vick was good. I'll give Eagles Michael Vick the credit, but I don't think a lot of quarterbacks match up to Falcons Michael Vick. So very good choice right there. And then my second fun question for you here: something people might not know about you. I mean, is there a fun fact that people wouldn't otherwise know if you didn't say it? Like if we were to get a quiz on the life of Chris Platt, and there was an
Uh-huh.
extra credit question here, what would that be?
Ooh. It would probably be. Let me think. Let me think. There's a. I have multiple. Can I list them?
Oh, you can listen. The more, the better. The more, the better.
Okay. Uh, I like to draw.
Hmm.
I like some country music. I'm a
There we
country
go.
boy.
There we go.
I was born in the country. Got horses, cows, just love the country life. Really, that's what I like to do in my spare time, like ride four wheelers, fish, all that other stuff.
Hmm.
And my biggest fear is seeing a giant squid eye to eye.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope you never have that experience. I hope you never put yourself in that position to have that experience because I'm with you here. The ocean terrifies me. It terrifies me.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. I see people scuba diving for fun and stuff, and I'm just like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I could
Huh?
could never.
No, no, what are you doing? I gotta ask now, favorite country singer? Who you got?
Chris Stapleton.
Alright, there we go. See, I'm not a huge country music fan, but I love Darius Rucker. I don't know if you listen to Darius Rucker at
Yeah.
all, but I love
Yeah. I
Darius
like him
Rucker.
a little bit.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I will never say that, in a group of friends or anything, but I like him a
Uh-huh.
lot. I guess, it depends the friend group I'm around, because as you say, people from the the country area. Pretty good with the country music. I'm from a smaller farm town, so when I'm home and stuff, I will talk about country music a little bit. But then I go to school out in Milwaukee right now, and I know a lot of my friends from Chicago and whatnot, and that's when they don't really get the country music references too much. So you gotta mix it up. Gotta mix it up. But I know, kind of just looking at this $1 million question now, Chris. This is the one we'd like to end the interview on here. One piece of advice that you could give to kids growing up who maybe someday want to be on Baylor, have a career such as you did with the Bears here, or just play Division I football. What would that advice be, something that you would pass along to that next generation of football players?
Yeah, don't get too high, don't get too low, because there's going to be some success, and with that success, there's going to be some adversity.
Mm-hmm.
And then how you deal with that adversity will always amount to your character.
Mm-hmm. I think that's great advice. Kind of got to stay level-headed. It's never too good as it seems. It's never too bad as it seems. So you always have to kind of keep that even mindset right there. But I want to say, I mean, congrats on a fantastic career at Baylor. It was just great to see, your career kind of pan out. I know it's been a long one, most games ever in a Baylor uniform. So, congrats on that accolade as well. Best of luck to you in these next couple years. I'm hoping that football can get on a more normal schedule soon. And best of luck once you get your opportunity to prove your worth here and work out with a team, get a tryout or something. So best of luck with everything there. But Chris Platt, I mean, thanks so much for joining us here on the site today. Great to have you on, and we'd always love to have you on again.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. It was great talking to you. We'll put your Twitter right down below so people can go follow your career journey here as it continues at the next level. And then we'll also put a link to Baylor's football page. Chris, unfortunately, won't be playing this season as he has moved on, but you guys can follow for news and updates on Baylor's football team. We'll have that link right down below to their website. But guys, thanks so much for joining us here on Ed Sports Network for another interview in our summer series. Great to have you guys on. And as always, we'll see you guys next time.